Hello everyone and welcome to Azam Sharp Weekly. And in this video, I'm going to show you that when you are writing your acceptance testing or end-to-end testing, how can you use your test to completely delete the app from the simulator and reinstall it again. So why would you want to do that? Why would you want to delete the app completely, remove it from the simulator, and then install it again? Well, if you're using an app, like building maybe a to-do list or anything, you may be downloading some content, you may be creating your SQLite database using core data, and it's always a good idea to delete core data files so that when you run a test, it is not making sure that previously saved data is failing or passing the test. In other words, whenever we are trying to run multiple tests, each test has to be independent. So you have to make sure that you are starting from complete scratch. So if in my application, I am creating core data file or SQLite file and all of those different things, when I run my second test, those files should not be there. We should be starting from scratch. So that is one of the techniques we can use. So let me show you how you can write your application that will, or write a test that will delete the app from the simulator. Now, before we do that, let me show you that first of all, how can we launch the application? I've already added a UI test target, and this test is not really going to test anything. You can see it's just called test foo. So let's go ahead and first create our application or launch our application. So I'm going to go ahead and say XCUI application. Continue after failure is false, app.launch, and there you go. That is literally going to just launch your application. So if I run this test right now, you will see that in the simulator, it's trying to install the app, and it installs another target also for the test and the app, and then it launches your app. The app doesn't really do anything. You can see it was just hello world, and that's it. So what we want to do is whenever we run this test, we should remove the app and start again. And the reason that we are removing the to-do list app or my to-do app is that we want to start our acceptance or end-to-end testing from scratch because our previous test might have altered the database, might have added something to the database, and so on. So how can we do that? There are multiple ways of doing that. I'm going to go ahead and first of all create a new file. And let's call this utils as utility. And in that file, I'm going to go ahead and add a class called Springboard. I will also reference to the Stack Overflow question which resulted and where the code, all of this code is taken from there. Import XC test. Okay, so I'm creating a class called Springboard, and what this is going to allow us to do is that it will consist of a single function called delete app, which is going to launch your simulator and then delete the app. All right, so that's going to be really cool. So I'm going to go inside my Springboard over here. I'm going to say static let Springboard equals to XCUI application bundle identifier. We're going to provide a bundle identifier for the Springboard. So that's the actual app that we're going to be utilizing, Springboard. And inside over here, we're going to create a class level function called delete app. You can obviously name your function anything you want. We're just calling it delete app. And now we can go ahead and launch this application. So terminate this. So XCUI application dot terminate. All right. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to activate the Springboard. So I'm going to say springboard.activate. It activates the application. And now the Springboard is activated. There are different icons on the Springboard. I can go ahead and perform a matching. So I'm only looking for icons that are matching with an identifier. And what will be the name of our icon? So let's go ahead and check it out. Well, our name of our icon is actually my to-do app. So let's go ahead and use that, my to-do app. And we're just going to get the first match. App icon dot press. We're going to press the icon for duration of 1.3 seconds, 1.4 seconds, so that the remove app button appears. And we can actually do that to look at it. There we go. So now what we want to do is to click on the remove app button. All right. So we're going to wait for it, for existings, for the button to appear, because after pressing it for the 1.3 seconds, it's going to take a little bit of time. So we're just going to wait for 1 second. Once we have that, we can simply say remove our Springboard app, which is buttons, and then remove app.tap. Great. So once we tap on the remove app button, it's not really going to remove the app, and you can try it out. If I go ahead and tap on remove app, then it shows me another thing like an alert. And in this alert, we have a button called delete button. And that's the one that we want to press. So we need to somehow get access to the delete button. So delete button equals to springboard.alert.buttons delete app.first match, not frame, but first match. Once we get the delete button, we can say if delete button dot wait for existence, timeout, let's say 5 seconds. We're going to go ahead and press the delete button dot tap, and then we can another thing pops up, and then from there we can go ahead and press on the delete. There we go. So there we go. That is your delete app function, which is going to delete your my to-do app. The only thing now you need to do is to call it before running each test. So this means before running each test means that you need to call it in the setup. So now I can say over here, springboard.delete app. And that's it. Let's go ahead and try it out. So if I'm going to go ahead and run the test right now, you can see what's going to do. It is going to run the setup first, and it's going to delete the app. There we go. And now it's going to install it, because now it's trying to actually run the test, and it's just going to launch the app. So this is a great way of running end-to-end testing, because you want to make sure that if you have multiple tests, one test is not leaving behind something that will make the other test pass or fail. The test should be independent, and that is what can make your test independent, by deleting the app and restarting or running another test. Now, if you were using core data over here, then this technique can be used, because it can become very hard from two different targets to delete the core data file, because the path of core data is related to the actual app and not from the actual UI test that you're running. So even though it looks like you might be deleting core data file, but it will end up not deleting it unless you have to have some sort of a shared container, and that's another mess that you have to create. All right. So for end-to-end testing, acceptance testing, you can use this approach. So whenever you are running test, it's going to make sure that the file or the whole app is actually deleted, and all the corresponding data related to that app will be gone, and reinstall it again as a fresh copy. So there you have it. This is how you can delete your app before running each test in Xcode. If you like this video and want to support my channel, then the best way would be to check out my Udemy courses. You can see I have many different Udemy courses related to SwiftUI, SwiftUI declarative interfaces, RX Swift, MVVM design pattern, core data, async and await, React, and so much more. So check out the links in the YouTube description, and you will find all the different links for discounted coupons, referral links, and so much more. Thank you so much for your continuous support.